Hey everybody, thank you for joining the Snowflake Usage Analytics presented by Data Lakehouse. Appreciate you taking the time to join the webinar. Just to give you a level set on Data Lakehouse. So Data Lakehouse is a end-to-end analytics platform, a no-code, low-code solution to connect to your various data sources, replicate that data into your data cloud, and then to build analytics on top of that, along with the corresponding dashboards. Everything is customizable, but in a no-code fashion. When you think of some of these pre-built connectors, a lot of the data sources, on-prem, cloud, even flat files and third-party data sources, you're able to ingest that data and push that into your Snowflake data cloud. We do offer pre-built data models if you choose to leverage these. And those pre-built data models, again, if you choose to leverage pre-built analytics and dashboards on top of those data models. Now, again, all three of these layers, you can choose which one or which ones you want to leverage. And of course, you also choose which connectors that are important for you. And so when we talk about Snowflake, the Snowflake Data Cloud, as a refresher for those that are new to Snowflake or perhaps are considering going to Snowflake. Think of Snowflake as your centralized data cloud. All the data that you have, it can be structured, unstructured data, data that sits in your on-prem data sources, your SaaS-based data sources, again, those third-party flat files, could be JSON files, could even be data shares from other Snowflake customers, data from the Snowflake marketplace. All of that landed into your centralized data cloud where you get to govern that data. You control who has access to that data or parts of that data. And naturally, you can determine which users within the data cloud have the ability to have a certain level of performance from a query response. You can also scale your Snowflake data cloud by setting parameters so that the data cloud based upon usage will scale automatically. And then once that scale is no longer needed, it will automatically descale. And along with performance tuning, all of that is built into the Snowflake data cloud. So you are not spending time adding keys and partitions and trying to enforce traditional DBA type of activities. The Snowflake data cloud handles all of that for you. So that way you are paying for what you need, but then you're also paying the lowest possible costs in the industry for what you are doing and using within the data cloud. And how you're paying, so we talked about from a computation perspective, how long do queries take, how much data are you sifting through? Sure, there is a minor fee for cloud storage, but then there's also from a cloud services perspective at the individual query level. And so these three components make up how you consume credits. And so credit, for those that are new to Snowflake, that is really the value of what you are subscribing to. It's X number of credits. Those credits also have a dollar component to them. And so these three individual components, when you think of usage analytics and tracking where your spend is, you have to look at all three of these individual components in order to get that complete picture. Because naturally, your spend may be different across these three individual components, and that allows you to better understand where that spend is. And for large organizations, or even just some organizations in general, you may have a chargeback process in place that says, all right, based upon your business unit or your department, you're using this much computation, cloud storage, and cloud services within Snowflake. And even if you're not charging back within your organization, you're at least able to see who are my largest users. What are they doing? Are there situations that you need to address relative to the consumption for individual applications or business units within your organization? But all of that falls under Snowflake Usage Analytics. Christian?
Hey, yeah, thanks, Mike, and great transition. So let's jump over to a live demo of Snowflake Usage Analytics. All right, fantastic. So we should see our Snowflake Usage Analytics page within datalakehouse.io. And what we're looking at here is just one of the basic default dashboards that is available to you as a customer of DataLakehouse.io, looking to get better insights and analysis into your Snowflake usage. And the Snowflake Usage Analytics is fairly comprehensive. We look across several aspects of your Snowflake account and even your Snowflake organization, so multiple accounts inside of your Snowflake organization. So we can look at query and analysis, so across view of slicing and dicing the types of queries that are being run within your Snowflake account. We can look at cost, other specific errors, take a look at expensive queries that are happening with your account, and then even really drill down into the warehouse capability and the actions that are happening there that will contribute to your use of compute. So how do we get here? So we use something in our system called our analytics packages. So our analytics packages are a suite of pre-built solutions that allow you to get started very rapidly. So it's an accelerating process for your organization across a wide array of popular connectors and data sets. And so one of those that we've been able to deploy for several customers is something we call Snowflake Usage Analytics. We can simply click on the dashboard here, and that takes us into the interface that we started with. So let's take a deeper dive into what's available to you as a Snowflake account holder that's leveraging Snowflake Usage Analytics from Data Lakehouse.io. So what we're able to do is we're able to take a look at queries, identify long-running queries, how many of our credits are being consumed based on those queries. We can determine which types of queries are causing problems in the system. We can determine based on an example would be a DBT package. So if you're a DBT user as well as a user of Snowflake, there's some direct correlation that you can make between your DBT package and your Snowflake usage. And we can see here that through our testing and our use of Snowflake usage, we're using Snowflake usage, the Snowflake usage DBT package quite a bit in our test account here. We can also take a look at the number of bytes scanned and do some trend analysis. So to really help the organization determine how are we trending in our usage. And then we can correlate that to things like specific projects, or perhaps there were some run-on events that happened within the account, so forth and so on. And then we can also identify other aspects of the DML type events. So if there's an increase or a decrease in things such as updates, inserts, and deletes. And as you can kind of make out from the diagram here, we don't do a heck of a lot of deletes in our system, but there's quite a few inserts and updates, which might make sense to some organizations, but there could be some organizations that do a heavy amount of deletes in their system. So it's good to identify those spikes and of course the trending that's happening within your account. If we move over to things such as cost analysis, this is one of the more popular dashboards that get generated for our customers. So you're really able to see where in the account the dollars are going. And you can determine that by storage. You can look at it by just general credits consumed, obviously query count and warehouse usage. These great graphs provide a breakdown in warehouse, where your warehouse spend might be coming from. And if you scroll down into the dashboard, you can actually start breaking it down, the cost down into the specific warehouse. And that's just fantastic because it allows us to understand where we're perhaps overspending, perhaps where we need to split things out into call centers, or if we're just doing call center reporting, this is a great way to start the process, or to be able to have the information you need to maybe charge an internal call center or customer, so forth and so on. And this would also be a great addition if you're a Snowflake Marketplace customer, where you're actually providing data through the Snowflake Marketplace, because this information will be at your fingertips. And it's a great way to break down who's using your product and how that spend is is coming either to you or out of your account. So we're really able to break that down with some great visual aspects to really understand on a month by month, year to year basis, year over year basis of where that spend is going and how it's being allocated. One of the other things that we'll show in this quick demo is just really taking a look at expensive queries. A lot of times there's a situation where your Snowflake account has been in use for a while. We see a lot of customers who either are new to Snowflake. They often start with a proof of value, and then they build something really quickly, and whatever they built originally stays there for a while, right? So there's some technical debt that might build up. Or you've been with Snowflake for a very long time. It's just been kind of this complacent system. It does what it needs. It continues to grow, but you've never really done any analysis on it. So this is a great dashboard here to inspect the type of specific processes and operations that are happening inside of your Snowflake account. So you can potentially drill in and determine if there's any bogeys that you're looking for, where you could potentially course correct and either reduce the cost in your current Snowflake account, or perhaps more effectively write a query or use a function or use some other advanced feature that Snowflake has to offer. We'll take a look at one more dashboard here, and then we'll see if there's any questions. And we're happy to do a personal demonstration of Snowflake Usage Analytics inside of datalakehouse.io, how that can fit for your organization, how the internals work, and everything like that. So clearly, we have a analytical perspective with the data that we're showing here that comprises Snowflake Usage Analytics. And so we're able to slice and dice. We're able to look over different time periods and across different warehouses. A very nice slice and dice type of capability for you as an end user who's looking to understand more about your Snowflake accounts. And so this is one that also is very important to customers, where they want to identify on a monthly basis or year over year, year to date basis on exactly how much has been consumed in their Snowflake system. And yes, we know Snowflake in some of their newer UI provides some very lightweight usage, but nothing to the degree of what's being shown here in datalakehouse.io Snowflake Usage Analytics. And so again, just taking a look at the warehouse usage, comparing month to month, looking at some trend capabilities, some trend analysis here, determining again where those credits are really being used, looking across different stats. And one of the interesting ones that we like to show is really use by day of the week. This is actually really interesting. In several of our customers, we see higher spikes on the weekend. Some other customers we see a consistent spike, let's say on Wednesdays, because perhaps that's when a particular report comes out. So the real question is, how can you see that? How can you understand how to direct your efforts with your Snowflake accounts if you don't have visibility into these insights? You don't understand the spikes, the peaks, the lulls, the ebb and flow of the data and how it's being used in the system. So we recommend this to all Snowflake customers across the globe. We think it's an amazing set of dashboards, models, and insights for any Snowflake customer. And we'll just go ahead and wrap up the demo there and see if there's any questions. And we'll be happy to answer those. And again, be happy to set up a personal one-on-one demo with one of our success managers and show you even more that we're not actually showing here in that demonstration.
Yes, thank you, Christian. Yeah, one question one of the questions that has come in is, we have multiple accounts, Snowflake accounts at our organization from a dev test prod perspective. Do you talk about how Snowflake Usage Analytics would be able to help look within those accounts and then across those accounts?
Yes, absolutely. So our Snowflake Usage Analytics system and the dashboards is very flexible. We can provide insights into one account, or we can look across the entire org. So the Snowflake system has evolved over the last many years. They've evolved to have an organization concept So we actually have a Snowflake organizational usage analytics component to these insights and dashboards that we're showing. And that would give you that ability to look across not only one account, but across multiple accounts, and also to do some comparative analysis between those accounts. Even though a lot of times those accounts can vary, but if you're talking about perhaps a QA or a SIT environment to a prod environment, there are some insights that could be gleaned there, and the Snowflake organization usage analytics will help with that.
Perfect. Thank you. And then one final question. If I have specific reporting requirements around my Snowflake usage analytics, how can I have those addressed?
Absolutely. So our Snowflake usage analytics is completely extensible. It's completely customizable. So the best suggestion would be to get in touch with us. I think there's probably a link in the webinar at the end of this, and that'll help direct you to the right person here at datalakehouse.io. And then you can learn more about how easy it is to customize or extend the analytics models and the reports here. And of course, every company is a little different. And so there might be some unique requirements, and we're happy to work with any customer to help them understand how that can be accomplished.
Perfect. So those are all of the questions that we have right now. And then from the perspective of, we do open source some of the pre-built models within Data Lakehouse. So feel free to check us out on GitHub for that. And naturally, we're always willing to have a conversation with you about your particular use cases. If there's something that the open source isn't quite taking advantage of that you'd want more, we do have the enterprise or paid subscription options as well. And of course, while you're out on GitHub, we'd love for you to give us a star. So thank you in advance for doing that, as always. And when you think of just other ways to continue to stay engaged with us, we do run and host the Carolina Snowflake Meetup group, along with several DBT meetup groups as well. And in addition, we also hope to see you at the Snowflake Data for Breakfast events that are happening all around the globe over the next several months here. So thank you for your time and your participation today. Again, any questions, feel free to visit us. Check us out on social media. We love to engage, or just even to say hi. We welcome the opportunity. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.